All right, so you're gonna take a maintenance break. This video is for somebody who's currently losing weight and has been doing so for a while and wants to just take a pause on losing and focus on maintaining, whether it be for a couple weeks, maybe for a month, but ultimately you're gonna get back, and we're spinning with Daisy right now, you're gonna get back to your weight loss, okay? So what we wanna think about is a couple factors. One, we wanna make sure that we've marked our calendar for when it is we wanna come out of this maintenance break. We wanna make sure we have reached out to the community for support and accountability and shared what our plan is. So we're going on a maintenance break. I'm planning on going back to losing weight on such and such a date. And then what we're gonna do, step two, is we're gonna do, if we're talking about long-term maintenance, you've lost all your weight, you're wanting to settle in at a maintenance calorie range, it's a little bit different than if you're going on a maintenance break for a short stint. If you're going on a maintenance break for a short stint, chances are this might be the very first time you've ever even tried it. And you may not know your maintenance calories. So maybe you've been on weight loss for a while, you've never tried to maintain, you have absolutely no idea what your maintenance calories are. So what I would encourage you to do is use 3 different online calculators, average the calories, get the average maintenance calories for your current body weight and your current activity level. If you take all 3 of those numbers, add them up, divide by 3, that's going to be a really good guesstimation as to your maintenance calories. You're going to be on it such a short period of time, it's really not going to be a big deal if you're overshooting or undershooting a little bit. If you're on Weight Watchers, you will have a maintenance setting in the tools that you have. So you just need to go back through your settings. It's probably set to weight loss. You would need to switch to maintenance, and they're going to probably give you something like an extra 6 or 7 points for the day, depending on what program you're following and what year this is and what they're doing. So you're going to have a different point allotment. Now, if you wear a Fitbit or some kind of a device, you can look at what it's giving you for your total calorie burn for the day, because that should be set to your weight and height and age. And it's a fairly good guesstimation. Again, this is not your permanent maintenance calories. This is just a maintenance break. So once we've got either the 3 numbers averaged from the online calculators, we've switched our maintenance in Weight Watchers, or we're going based off of our tracking device. You want to go into a MyFitnessPal or a food diary and actually manually change your calorie target. So if you've been eating, and I'm just using nice round numbers here, 1,500 to lose, and your fitness tracker says, your Fitbit says, okay, your everyday TDEE is about 2,200, you will set it to 2,200. So step 1, mark your calendar. Step 2, get accountability. So that way people know what you're planning to do, and that way you've touched base with people. Step 3, figure out your TDEE right now based on what you weigh and your fitness level. Then either change it in Weight Watchers app or change it in your food diary. You're not going to leave it set at weight loss. You're going to change it intentionally. Then what we want to do, okay, this is the next step, is we want you to take a look at what you're typically eating in a day and try to do an even distribution of those extra calories. Adding a little bit to something, to breakfast, to lunch, to dinner, to your treat, and bringing all the calories up as evenly as possible. Or so what we want to avoid, and I've seen this be a crash and burn scenario, is somebody who eats the exact same as they did to lose weight, and they save all those extra calories and they put them towards copious amounts of treats. The reason I would encourage you not to do that is that can create some unhealthy eating behaviors, and it can create a more seemingly weight gain during the process because of the extra, say, carbs, the extra fun foods that might cause us to retain more water. So I find the safest way to go about taking a maintenance break is to be adding in some extra calories. And how that looks is this. Maybe right now you're doing an egg white scramble for breakfast. Throw in a little bit of avocado or cheese, or maybe some bacon crumbles, right? Things you might omit to save calories that would actually add flavor to that meal, make it taste better. Almonds or nuts in your oatmeal, things like that. Lunch, maybe go ahead and have, some extra fruit with your lunch, or maybe throw in some extra oil into your salad, or possibly use regular fat dressing as opposed to low fat dressing, right? Little changes like that. When you're talking about a 500-ish calorie difference, if you evenly distribute it through the day, you'll have a little bit more for treats and a little bit more for meals, okay? But you don't want to go crazy and just take all of those and shove them towards treats, because that can create a really unhealthy response for mentally and physically. Now, the other thing I want to mention, could your weight fluctuate some? Yes, and I've seen it go both ways. I've seen people lose weight going on a maintenance break, and I've seen some people seemingly have a little bit of weight fluctuation up. Remember, there are several factors here. One, you're eating more food volume, possibly. Two, you might be eating more foods that cause water retention, like carbohydrates and salts. For every 1 gram of carbohydrates, it brings with it 4 water molecules. So it is not because carbs are bad, but they do bring some extra water, which can affect scale weight. So if you're noticing your weight's fluctuating, you just keep charting it and don't panic, because you know, again, going back to our fear video, that unless you're shoving back thousands of calories a day, that is not fat weight, it is water fluctuations. So you have to allow your body to process that however it's going to process it. And again, some people lose. It just depends on you. So these are some really solid tips to help you navigate the maintenance break. Remember, step 1, calendar. Step 2, reach out for accountability. Step 3, figure out what your TDEE should be right around now. Step 4, change your food tracking device. Either make it maintenance calories or maintenance points, depending on what you're using. The next step, evenly try to distribute those calories as much as you can through the day, adding little bits and pieces here and there, so that way you aren't kind of saving them up all for just treats and snacks. Make sure that they're kind of breaking up nicely through the day. But if you follow those tips, that will make this process so much better, so much more user-friendly. You have a fabulous day.